yes, don't need a crystal ball, don't need belief. When the law still runs on proof and receipts of the mud and watching through the courtroom glass, pointing out lies as they saying it's facts. Yes. This ain't prophecy. This ain't hate. Just history watching itself repeat. When words get reckless, the courts get busy. And the truth always shows up right on time.
Hey everybody. Hey y'all. How's it going? Hey Donna. Hey Triple Threat. Finally catching a live after a busy week taking my son to college. Is it his first year, Triple Threat? Oh, that's a big thing. Hey Short Order Cook. Hey Zuna. Hey Lacey. Good afternoon. We're still in the morning here. Only 30 minutes till noon though. Hey Helen. Skynet. Hey Goose. You weren't gonna miss today, huh? I think I like this time at 11:30. Sometimes by 2:00 I'm just like overstimulated and I got so much going on. And so I think I'm going to keep, anytime I go live, I think I'm going to keep this time. I think that's what I'm going to do. Then there's always the replay. No, he's going for his PhD. Oh, wow. That's a proud mama. Good job. Go for his PhD. It was the first time to move for college, huh? He was able to go locally. Oh, well, that's good, Skynet. Keeps you company while you're working. Hey, Kitten on the keys. If I didn't say hi to you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I just have, hey, well, Grandma, 234. Rena, that's what I call you, right? Hey, SD. Sarah. Yeah, if I don't see you, it's not because I don't care. It's just because sometimes it's hard for me to see chat. If you've been watching me for a while, you know. If you know, you know, I guess is the thing. So what is going on? How's the weather for everyone? Y'all, it's so hot here still. I can tell it's cooling off, even though it says it's like, it feels like 120 or whatever. When I go out there, if I stand in the shade, I can tell it's a little bit like cooler, like 110. Only 1,238. Oh, or wait, is that how hot it is there, Lazy? If it's at this time, I stay up real late, but if it's the other time, I get up real early. Oh my gosh, Short Order Cook. Well, I appreciate you either way. Yeah, we've got some funny stuff to talk about today. Oh my gosh. Helen. Is she doing all right? Oh my goodness. I hope she's doing all right. 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, you're in Canada, Sherry. Yeah, I think my husband said to me yesterday, he was like, why would anybody want to retire here? Like, what is it? Like, what? Oh, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. We got to figure out a plan. Where are we going to go in the summers? The humidity is finally in the 70% range. I don't even know what it is here. I don't even want to know. Hey, Mama Celeste. Glad you're here. Already 100 there. Is that typical for wherever you're at? You don't have to say where you're at, but is it typical to be 100 degrees there? I mean, obviously I'm in Texas, so I'm in southern Texas. It's up in the Panhandle, it can get colder. You can get snow and stuff. It's wild because, like, I know when we were like going live during the winter or whatever, and it was having snow. Like, I grew up here. Like, I'm from Texas. And I remember once in my childhood when it snowed. I still remember it was February. I was like in 4th or 5th grade. I don't know. I just remember like being around that age, maybe going into middle school. And as soon as it hit the ground, it pretty much melt. But we were able to make snowmen that were like literally like the snowballs were the size of like golf balls. Okay. And that was huge for us. And then again, when I was in college, like my early like freshman year, so not long out of high school, It snowed. I was driving, and as soon as it would hit, but it was a big thing for us to see. Since I've been out here in the country, which isn't it's still the same thing. So, like, I mean, we're not too far out of the city, right? It has snowed 3 times and significantly enough, for Texas. It's crazy. Now I'm sitting there going, I hate when it's cold. Now I'm like, I wish it would snow. Wisconsin is cooling down at night. See, that's the thing. Like, I know when we would go up north during the summers, it was so wild to me because it could be hot during the day, but it was always cool at night. Here, no, not the thing because the humidity is crazy. So you're in Arizona, so that's cool there. Gotcha. Been in the high 80s with a heat index of 95. Heat exhaustion sucks. Heat exhaustion sucks, SD. Like, I see, like, our football players and football teams, and they train out in this shit in August, and I'm like, how? It should be illegal. 95, Grandma. Yeah. So a lot of us are in the same boat. I just know that there's some places that it's really hot that's, like, not typically hot, you know? Hold on a second, y'all. I'm hot. Speaking of, I'm hot, so I'm gonna take off my sweatshirt or my long sleeve shirt. I'm inside, so it goes from hot to cold. It's humid as hell in Delaware. Yeah. Hey, Vivian. Alrighty, guys. So I put a video out. Was it Sunday? I guess. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. Today, Tuesday. Put a video out. I don't know if all of you were able to watch it or not, but also if you were on a live stream, was it Friday? We were going through, we were looking at Katie Joy's memorandum that was filed. Hang on just a second. I got to situate when I do that. It makes a lot of noise. Hold on. Okay, I'm in a different room today, so I'm just all over the place. It's so hot in Cali, huh? So when we were live, we were going over Katie Joy's memorandum, which I think we got into that enough. I mean, the thing is, I think as long as we just kind of summarize what her argument is, kind of what her game plan is going to be, and then it finally hit the docket, and it's known that 7M hired a new attorney. And we went and we looked him up, y'all. And as you know, like, they were here during live reading, and I did the video and I outlined his stuff. Look, if I wanted to talk to this guy, we would, okay. Well, the attorney will be here for not very long unless you want to giggle a bit. It was hot last week when I was in Albany, New York. See, it's just hot everywhere. I have a friend who's in outside New York City, and he said it's been pretty hot, but cooling off. Yeah, but it was awesome. Did some other comment on one of it was a long time ago. I remember that, and Ball pointed it out. No, that you're right. I totally forgot that you said that. It was with Robert's legal team in California. So, am I cutting out? Am I cutting out because my Wi-Fi seems to be something? I'm getting a lag. Oh, don't tell me we're issues with Wi-Fi. In a different place today. Let me get there. Oh, you can hear me? Okay, I am cutting out. Shit. I don't need this. Hang on one sec. It says my Wi-Fi's signal is strong. I don't know what's going on. Let me go out and come right back in, okay? Hang on one second now. Okay, now let me know if that works. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Nope, still. All right. Hello, Sean. It's a bit roboty. Is it still roboty? I know. It was loud and clear in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it looked like my if I was on another screen, and I could tell that it was just lagging. It was just circling. Okay, so is that better? I went out and came back in. I don't understand. I don't know if it's our Wi-Fi or if it's StreamYard. It says I have a solid connection. I haven't had any issues with Wi-Fi in a while. There's no storms around. Okay, so we're back. We're back. So, robot burbs, huh? All righty. So yeah, the person that reached that comment on one of my videos was one of Robert, I guess, like part of Robert Shin's legal team in LA, but I don't even think it was his legal team that's doing his civil. Oh yeah, I guess it would be for his civil suit. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it, you know. So as we know, or if you don't know, as of when did it when did it show the docket? On the 13th, it showed the notice of appearance, but they really filed it on the 12th. We didn't see it till the 13th. And so I was told prior, and I was told, look, they understood that Amber Stavig was leaving, and it was just because she is having a change of career, and they didn't want some narratives going out there that it was anything different than that. And so I wasn't 100% sure, so then I waited, and when we were live, yeah, it hit, and so we went over it. And to me, okay, let me just tell you what this means to me. This is my opinion. This is a statement being made by Robert Shin. This is more than just, yeah, I'm going to hire another attorney that I know is going to, get us through this. This is a statement, in my opinion, by Robert Shin. He hired the absolute best attorney. Okay, there's a lot of great attorneys in that firm. There's a lot of good attorneys that in Minnesota, in that area that have experience in defamation. He is the top lawyer. And he might actually be better than some of the lawyers in other surrounding states. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know they have to have a Minnesota lawyer, but I'm just saying, like, he is so impressive. And to me, it's a statement. To me, he's like, yeah, really? Because there was one point where I'm just going to put some of these things up because they're funny to me. Hold on. There was one point, I mean, Katie Joy said this, right? I don't remember when she said this, but she said a lot of things like this, where she just doesn't care. Number of hours I spend thinking or worrying about this frivolous lawsuit filed against me, 0. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being concerned, I will lose. I'm minus 20 trillion or whatever. Okay. Now you might want to switch that negative to a positive, Katie Joy, but this was her attitude the whole time. She even said recently, like when I say recently, I'm, within the last year or so, definitely after so the docuseries was 2 summers ago. The raid was 1 summer ago. So if we just kind of look at it in that perspective, a year ago being the raid, 2 years ago being the when the docuseries came out, she has said they don't care about this. They don't care about this lawsuit. They're focusing more about the one in LA, the civil lawsuit in LA. They don't care about this one. They just don't care. They're just fucking with me, basically. I mean, she's just like, they just don't, he's not going to go. In fact, when they had the hearing on February 9th, it was a pre-trial conference, and they were all required to be there in person. And she said, they're probably not even going to show. And I'm thinking, why would he not show? She really thought that this was just going to go away and that he's going to walk away from it, that he really doesn't care, that he was just trying to get her to spend the money up to this point. To me, this statement of who he hired Let me pull him up again. Let me just pull up his name is V. John Ella. With Fafinski, Mark, and Johnson. And this is the gentleman that Katie Joy's gonna have. I'm sorry, I laugh every time, y'all. I can't help myself. I can't help. I can't help laughing. But this is who she's going to be going up against Will, and it's bad for her. It's really bad for her. I'm sorry, it just is. I don't care what anybody says. This is not good. So this is who's representing her. And again, I think it's a statement from Robert Shin. Like, you think we're screwing around. You think we don't care. You've said I can't afford. She's made several statements. I need to find them. But she said statements that she doesn't think that financially he's going to be able to pull through this. Because, he's got the federal investigation and all this and that. She has underestimated this man from the second she started talking to him. And Clark Kent. Here's the thing. For all of you assholes that want to go, you're part of the cult. You're obviously part of the cult supporting Robert Shin. You don't know. You have no idea what my perspective is. Just because I'm talking about this lawsuit, stating the facts of shit. For 4 years, Katie Joy has accused him of heinous things. For the last 2 years, and we're gonna have time today to look at the statements. We're gonna start going back to the statements again. Starting 2 years ago is when they started to get really bad. A year ago, pure defamation, in my opinion. Yeah, she's going down. Pink moments. I feel it. That's my opinion. Did I see her extra long post on her ADHD? You know what? A lot of her stuff, I don't even look. Like, I'll see people will send me stuff, or I'll go check her Instagram every once in a while. Her other shenanigans, I can't even deal with. Like, she is just. I have seen some things that she's done like the last 24, 48 hours. That's another thing we'll talk about real quick too. And she just seems to kind of be losing a sense of reality. And I'm sure that this is really, really affecting her. I mean, I don't care what or how, anything. She has to be scared shitless after this was done. This is a statement by Robert Shin saying, I'm not going away. Not only am I not going away, y'all, do you know how much this guy's retainer is? Do you know how much it is just to retain this guy? Just to look over it and say, okay, yeah, I'll take this case on. Just the initial retainer. Do you know how long it's going to take them to catch up with all this? I mean, this has gone on for 4 years. Sure, there's been a lot of like dead air in this because there was a lot of delays in the beginning. There's been, months that we've gone with nothing really happening. But this is so much to look over. And now there's 212 statements, right? So not only does he have to look at those 212 statements, he's going to have to look at the original complaint versus the amended complaint, all the things, right? Like, there's so much to do. Yeah, she's in big trouble. I just what I feel. I mean, I could be wrong, right? You never really want to say anything in these court cases. You never. I'm surprised Katie Joy hasn't learned that. She's made all of these accusations about certain court cases and stuff, and then she's wrong. I mean, Katie Joy is wrong. Is wrong. She'll never admit that she's wrong. She's wrong a lot of times. I just, in order to just retain this guy, and this isn't even going to be, whenever they start, probably get a separate retainer for trial. My guess is nothing less than $75,000. Nothing. I mean, I'd be shocked if it was less than $75,000 that he had to get this guy just to get his foot in the door. My guess is probably over $100,000. And she wants to say that he doesn't care. She wants to say, oh, he can't afford it. He's got $105,000 cash that was seized from his home. Look, how he gets his money, I don't know. Am I saying he's the best guy in the world? No, I don't know. Okay. He's under a federal investigation, but just because he's under a federal investigation does not make him guilty of anything, y'all. That raid was 2 years ago. According to Katie Joy, they started investigating him in 2021, 2022. Okay. It's 2026. But the main things that she's accusing him of, right, that she's stating as a fact, you know, I don't think 7M is going to be fighting this. And this is Amber that brought this fight up, right? We haven't heard from this guy yet. We haven't even heard from him yet. I can't wait to see his filings, y'all. Can't wait to see what his argument is going to be. But these are the things that she said after the raid happened. This was the day of the raid. She says this is a sex trafficking ring. And I put these in my videos. If you watched my video, and I've put these in a couple of videos, I've shown these before. Because she's not saying it's alleged. She's not saying this is what he is being accused of. Yeah, he's the guy from 7M that's been accused of XYZ. No, she states as a fact when someone says, what is he currently arrested for? Well, number one, he was never arrested, y'all. He was detained. And that's what happens during a raid. They detain people there. And she says this is a sex trafficking ring. So Amber Stavig wouldn't have started fighting so strongly to this judge if he was being investigated for sex trafficking and was, let's say maybe initially he was. We don't know. We'll never know. Katie doesn't even know. That's what pisses me off the most about this, y'all. Katie doesn't know. Katie has no idea. She has just as much access to his case as I do. Okay? You go on Pacer, you put in the case number. It's sealed. Okay? Because it's an investigation. It's an investigation. So we don't even know. Maybe sex trafficking wasn't even part of it. They just put that in the docuseries. Why was it in the docuseries? Because it's a narrative. You know? Donna, thank you so much. Donna says, I want to thank you for always asking about my sister. It means so much to me. Shows how much of a big, kind heart you have. Well, Donna, I appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate you always checking. Look, you guys are very kind to each other in the chat. You guys are very kind to me. And I appreciate that. So you are more than welcome. And I appreciate you, Donna. You're very kind to this channel.
Thank you for the love and the money. While we keep covering this dummy, it keeps this little channel growing, so we can keep this crazy going. From the bottom of our heart, we love you so dang much.
Yeah, FBI Steve to the rescue. Like, come on. She doesn't understand why 7M provided cars to the dancers to get to and from parents, appearances, etc. It's not control. It's good business sense and a perk. Everything she has said, and it's going to come out in trial. I mean, the things that she said, y'all. We're about to start looking at some of these statements again, and it almost makes me want to go back to the very beginning, y'all. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, y'all. So the original complaint had 85 statements that 7M said were defamatory. Now, this new complaint has 212. So yes, it's going to be a lot for this attorney to look over, right? And some of the 212 statements were said before she was sued, but for whatever reason, they were not in the original complaint. And I wasn't really sure about, like, how's that, is that going to be a very strong argument? And Leanne Newton, who comes into chat sometimes, I don't see her in here today, but she's an attorney, and I like when she's in here because if I have questions, she's able to usually answer them for me. But she made a good point that, and I kept forgetting this, is, y'all, this case has been going on forever. The biggest problem they've had is discovery. Discovery just closed at the end of July. June, July. Skynet, thank you so much. Sunshine and Rain, welcome to Mutton's cousin. Thank you, Skynet. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, my mutton friend. Just remember that I would not be here if it weren't for y'all. And for that, I love you so dang much.
And so Leanne reminded me, well, Discovery just closed. And so they might have gotten some stuff through Discovery that they were able to put back into, right, this amended complaint. And so I don't even know anymore if I feel that that's going to be a very strong argument for Katie Joy. There are a couple that I think that she's going to have. Look, there's 212 statements. Do I think they're all going to go to the jury? No. But now with this new attorney with 7M, do I think it's I just can't wait to see how he argues this, honestly. Here's another thing she said when it's talking about Miranda. Goose. He just feels like just sitting on the sidelines like, really? Are you ever gonna, is it YouTube, are you ever gonna pick me? Oh, Goose. I said one day. Yeah, I can't wait till this goes to trial either, Bobby. There'll be people attending in person. That's all I can say right now. Because it's still so far out. We don't know when it's going to be. We don't know what people's schedules are. It's Skynet. But here's where she literally says that Miranda is being trafficked. Okay, again, this was on the day of the raid when things just got really, 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 like in her mind, everything was crazy. So if anybody was paying attention, within the last few days in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, I believe, there was a big sex trafficking ring that was busted, and it had to do with one of the county attorneys that was involved. And this is what Katie, okay, so the case is happening in Minnesota right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, my husband must be going somewhere. I just had his truck start. I'm not even going to pull up. If y'all are interested, you can look it up. But there's something happening in Minnesota. And with this sex trafficking ring that was busted or whatever, it goes beyond that too. Okay. It's really more of a prostitution situation. And then there's also some fraud going on within the healthcare system. So anyways, everything that Katie Joy has reported on that since yesterday is accurate and it's truthful because these are all statements that are made in, I mean, these people are charged. They've been arrested. It's in their arrest report. It's, they've been charged as part of their charges. Like, these are things that she can actually say. But everything that's happening is what she basically was accusing Robert Shin of. It's wild almost, because apparently this case, no one really knew that they were under investigation for the sex trafficking stuff. And then it involved these people that are very high in the community. And so the way that she's talking about that is perfectly fine because it's all out there. There's charges, there's arrests been made. Now there's talk about what the original investigation was about, when it started. But when it comes to Robert Shin, she's accused him of these things as a fact. She's stating them as a fact, and nothing has ever happened. He's never been charged. He's never been arrested. He's never been indicted. All these things, right? But everything that she said about Robert Shin, wildly, is very similar to what's going down in Minnesota. So the fact that she's just said all these things about, Robert Shin, as she has in the past, is just unreal to me. It blows my mind. But one of the funniest things that I discovered when I was making the video, I've never really looked into Jennifer Moore much. I just seen that she's really a family law attorney, right? She's been practicing since mid-90s, let's call it, something like that. Yeah, that's all I really knew. And turns out, hang on one second, y'all. Y'all, my husband just came in here and told me that he just heard one of his high school buddies just passed away. I asked him if he wanted to talk, and he said he's going to go for a drive. So we're good for now. If y'all are the praying type and you like to send up those types of positive vibes, prayers, all that into the universe, please do so. That's for this family and friends. Yeah, look, y'all, to see him sad like that, just okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull myself together. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. Okay, just 2 seconds. Okay. All right. I hate to see him that way. Okay. We're back. Now my dog's barking. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know who yet. I don't know the story. I could just see it in his eyes, and I asked him if he needed me to stop, and he said no. He said I'm gonna go for a drive anyways. I was wondering why I heard his truck start. Thank you, Sarah. He said pink moments. He said he's like me when something like this happens. I typically go off and do my thing, and then when I'm ready, I'll talk about it. Hey, Barney. Nobody needs to hear you barking. Your disapproval. Barney's disapproving of his daddy leaving, I guess. Okay. So, Barney. So whenever I was doing this video, I came across something very interesting. So those of you that watched the video, if you haven't, still go back and watch it. Believe it or not, I made it under 20 minutes. That's impressive, right? Helen, he's already in the truck. He's already in the truck. I heard it start. So he'd already, I guess he got the dogs all situated, except this little one here. He'll be all right. We're at that age, y'all. I mean, I have a couple of my best friends from grade school, I'm still really close with. And do I see them all the time? No. Do I even talk to them all the time? No. But do we catch up if we haven't talked in 5 years, like it was yesterday? Yes. And I have one that's she's one of those that was always involved with everybody in high school anyways, always social media, blah, blah, blah. Like I was never, so anytime anything happens like that, she always contacts me. And whenever I see her contact me, I'm always like, oh no, we're just at that age. I mean, we're still very young, right? I mean, starting to be in our 50s and all that. But anyways, okay. It does. It changes the blink of an eye. Yeah, he said a high school buddy. You never mind the dog. Here's is a barker when other dogs walk by. So anyways, if you haven't seen the video I put out, it's worth a view because it talks a little bit about where this case is, who the attorney is. And it talks about Katie Joy's attorney. Sorry, I cannot laugh without just bringing that up. And then shows kind of the stuff that Katie Joy has said. But what was super interesting, he walked in when I was about to switch. I was about to switch to something. What was it? Here, this one. So in this case, what I found out was whenever I was looking at it, hold on, here it is, it's this one. When I was looking into it, that Katie Joy's attorney actually has represented somebody in a defamation lawsuit in Minnesota that was in relation to their anti-SLAPP law and the UPEPA in Minnesota. And I just found it funny because she represented the plaintiff. And y'all look, let me show you this. So whoever was the court illustrator, right? And I'll give you just the background of it. I'm going to pause it on this picture. That's Jennifer Moore right there, okay? And in this hearing, I guess, where the judge was hearing about this case. So the George Floyd situation, there was the state versus Derek Chauvin, which was the police officer that was ultimately charged for George Floyd's death, right? During that trial, there was, a lot of people testified, obviously. And this Katie Katie Blackwell was an assistant chief at the time or something. And she testified, anyways, nonetheless, as a representative for the police department, she testified in this case. And I got to put it back down in this picture just because it's funny as hell. So she testified in the case. Well, afterwards, there was a documentary and a book that was put out called The Fall of Minneapolis. And Alpha News journalist Liz Collin was part of it. And then there was, these other players as well. Well, during that docuseries, hey, Lamb Chop. Thank you, Pink Moments. Oh, I'm so sorry, Skynet. 2024. I mean, hard to believe that 12 years, right? I bet it feels like yesterday. Oh my gosh, Jill B. Oh my gosh, Jill B. See, I mean, y'all, it's so scary. It's so scary because you just don't know. Oh, you've not seen this, Pink Moments? I hadn't seen it either. How I never knew about this, I don't know. Why Katie Joy didn't talk about that her attorney, Jennifer Moore, was somehow tied to this George Floyd case, right? Unbelievable that we didn't hear that. Well, you know why? Because she was representing the plaintiff. She was the lead attorney representing this Katie. It's wild, another Katie. But she was representing the plaintiff. She was representing the person claiming they'd been defamed, right? Particularly, I know Barney. She's barking for no reason. Stop it. She was claiming that she was defamed in this docuseries. Wild, right? Just look at all the similarities here. She claimed, but the opposite side of it. And just to make a long story short, Jennifer Moore lost. But they said in the docuseries that they believed that she lied in her testimony, that all of her testimony was a lie. It was a very controversial thing. I haven't watched it yet. Haven't had time to look into it. It's not something I saw. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's called The Fall of Minneapolis. And it was, as I'm reading here, it says, is a crowd-funded documentary exploring the events surrounding George Floyd's death, the 2020 Minneapolis riots, and the aftermath, featuring exclusive interviews with police officers and key figures. And basically, ex-police, she's now the police chief, I think. Don't quote me, and I really don't feel like looking it up right this second. But she was promoted after all this. But nonetheless, she testified, and then the docuseries came out. A lot of people disagreed with the docuseries. A lot of people agree with the docuseries. It's just one of those things that's really divided, right, about the actual cause of his death. Nonetheless, this officer was charged, and she testified. Jennifer Moore, Katie Joy's attorney, was hired to represent the plaintiff. Yeah, KJ went to support Floyd. I remember when all that happened too, and I remember her live streams when she was doing that. Remember, she made it about her. She always does, just like this thing that happened yesterday in Minneapolis with these people that were arrested, these connection to a sex trafficking ring. And really, when you read the story, it's more about prostitution. But the way it was laid out there, they classify it as sex trafficking. So, anyways. She made that about herself too. She makes everything about herself. But the fact that she never said, "Oh, my attorney regarded this," you know why? Because she's representing this, and then guess what? The defendants, right? This, oh my gosh, my dogs are barking. Like, he didn't take his buddy with him, which is surprising. That Plum is in the barking. So this Alpha News Liz Collin, and others. And the ironic thing is, they turned around and they filed anti-SLAPP. Because the lawsuit in October 2024. As we know, if you've been following along with me, and if you don't know, the anti-SLAPP law in Minnesota came into play in May of 2024. Okay, this lawsuit happened in October of 2024. Katie Joy's attorney, Jennifer Moore, is representing this, saying she's been defamed, right? As soon as they file this lawsuit, the defendants turn around and file an anti-SLAPP. And the judge says, yep, and granted it. So when Jennifer Moore was representing this person, Katie, she was seeking damages in the amount of $50,000. Well, in a defamation lawsuit under anti-SLAPP, if they determine that there is no merit, Barney, stop it. Sorry, my other dog's in another room barking. If they determine there's no merit, because the purpose of it is to prevent frivolous lawsuits. And why should a defendant have to pay for anything if they're not found guilty? So that's what this law is in place for. So because of that, because it was granted, Jennifer Moore, whose client was seeking $50,000 in damages, ended up having to pay $75,000 in attorney's fees. So there's a lot of irony here. It's just wild to me about the whole docuseries and all that. But it's the other side of the fence, right? Like, she's defending the plaintiff here. I mean, this was a public figure, like an official, a public official, right? Not just and somebody in that position. It's even harder to have defamation against, and that's why this is why they're protected. Okay. On both sides. That's exactly it. And why Jennifer Moore would have taken this case on, because a lot of it was found time barred. So is it because she lost? She's like, oh, I lost on all of these. Let's put this in and say, yeah, their statements are time barred. All the things that she lost on is what she's putting in this, is what she's trying to argue in Katie's case. It's hilarious. Yeah, I know he's gruffing. He's just like, he's mad. He's trying to tell me something's not right. Yeah, Goose, it was like his or her sister's cousin was dating Floyd, and then she made it all about race, and it was just crazy. So I had no idea that Jennifer Moore has already represented somebody in a defamation case that involved their anti-SLAPP statute. She did. She lost. And so her client not only had to pay the $7,000 attorney's fees to the defendants, she obviously had to pay Jennifer Moore's attorney's fees, and she didn't get the $50,000 she was seeking. Why it was said, yeah, let's go ahead and try to fight against this new anti-SLAPP law, especially if a lot of the statements were time barred. Okay, the anti-SLAPP came into effect in May of 2024. I forget when the exact date that this lawsuit happened, or whenever it came into play, but as we've talked about before, defamation, the statute of limitations in Minnesota for defamation is 2 years. So a lot of the stuff that was said was outside of the statute of limitations. So they were time barred. This case, from beginning until dismissal, literally was under 6 months. Okay? Your dog is snoring. Usually he is. Skynet, I had never heard it either. Yeah, she goes on and on about her legal team. Her legal team. Let me see if I've got one of those. We'll put that one up in a little bit. So anyways, here is if you're interested in this, stop. I wish my dog in the other room would stop barking. Okay. If anybody's interested in reading that about this case, there's that. It should give you the actual case number as well. Let me see. And then we'll move on from this. Let's see. If not, all you have to do is look up Katie Blackwell versus Colin, and you'll be able to find the case if you're interested. Skynet, I have a feeling you might be one of those that might be interested. Who was she defeated by? Our super lawyer? No, Sarah. No, some other lawyer. In fact, I was going to look up who that lawyer was, and then I was like, nah, don't have time. Her great legal team. Her great legal team. It's hilarious. It was a fun read. It was a good read. I'm not going to lie. I read the actual case. Oh, Skynet, if you go, because I know you're checking the website all the time, the Minneapolis one. In fact, if you want to go check it now, let me know if there's any new filings that have been filed in Katie's case. While you're in there, just plug in Blackwood. Katie, I keep calling it Blackwood. Is it Black? Blackwell. I always say Blackwood. Blackwell. If you put in Blackwell, Barney, stop. If you put in Blackwell, you'll be able to pull up the whole entire case, Skynet. So for something if you want to read later, I went through and I pulled up the original complaint. I didn't get through it all to see. I got through some of it. I skimmed it. I don't even remember what all the statements were. They said were defamatory, but you might find that interesting. I figured you would, Skynet. And anybody else, if you know, whenever you go look at, if you go look up Katie's documents on the Minnesota Judicial Branch, I'll just go ahead and put that link in here as well. There's that link where you can pull up Katie's records, or you can pull up this whole case regarding this chick that that Jennifer Moore represented. So now we know why Katie Joyce never brought it up. Now we know why we don't know anything about it, because it was a big fail, right? Big F for failure. Yeah, there's nothing on KDK. Thank you. I just checked before I got on here. Of course, I did on Friday, and if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known that there was that they had filed the notice of appearance, notice to appear. So basically, Catherine's attorney has a history of legal losses, so her fees are probably cheaper than others. And since she thought this case was nothing, she hired the cheapest attorney. Well, this law firm has been with Katie well since before this case happened. So Jennifer Moore was probably on Katie's case like a year already before she took on this other case that was dismissed due to the anti-SLAPP statute. Hey, C. This is helping me fill out the tables for new Peaches and Plum Nursery stuff. So, Peaches and Plum. KJ still owes Mike Brown a balance from the Toddy lawsuit. I've heard that she, I've heard different things, but everything that was happened in the Toddy suit and with Todd Chrisley, all of that is sealed, right? That is settlement. That was all private. So, all right, let me. Let's go here. I know, buddy. I know it's free. I know it's upsetting you, but there's nothing I can do at the moment. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right. Yes, thank you, Brenda. Everybody needs to go smash that like button, that thumbs up, please. Please go do that. Are you getting notifications? Are notifications getting better now? I've been going live more, and I've put out a video, and sometimes that helps. So this whole thing with like Katie Joy's legal situation and expenses and all that, she says that she's never had to pay a retainer. I cannot imagine that is anything that this law firm wants to practice with Katie Joy. I mean, I get it maybe up to this, like, there's filings here and filings there, but this thing's going to trial. Or, okay, I shouldn't say that with such certainty because we don't know if it is going to trial. It's projected to go to trial. So there's going to be a lot of prep going on. So the next thing we're going to see is 7M's new badass super lawyer, he is going to argue against what Katie Joy just what she just filed, saying why the anti-SLAPP applies, and if the anti-SLAPP doesn't, why this case needs to be dismissed outside of that. And I cannot wait to see this. I can't wait, y'all. It's going to be the best thing ever. Amber Stavig did an excellent job. Amber Stavig led them up to here. It's unfortunate that, or maybe it's fortunate. Maybe for her, this is a great move, and this is something that she really wants. So hopefully it's a great thing for Amber Stavig to move on and do what she needs to do. And then I think this puts 7M in a really good place. And like I was saying at the beginning, this is strategy. I think this is a huge statement. You know, Robert Shin hasn't said shit. Katie Joy goes on, and we're going to hear this soon. I don't know if it's in what we're going to play today, but she talks about how Robert Shin, I just lost my total train of thought because my dogs are still barking. I think it's about to stop, though. Seems like she's calming down. I just totally lost my train of thought. Regarding Robert Shin, she has said so many things, and there's something that she said specifically, and it was just on the top of my brain until I got distracted. Because then I'm looking at her eyes like, what? She's got Charlie Manson eyes, in my opinion. Is it going to? It's a jury trial. Yeah, from the very beginning, 7M requested a jury trial. So it's a jury trial. And I think people are going to really empathize and sympathize with Miranda and James Derrick. And I think they're very likable. They're very likable people. I don't know much about Robert Shin at all. Because like we said, he hasn't really been in the public eye. Oh, that's what I was going to say. He's never made a public statement, y'all. Really. I mean, he's made a written public statement. He's been quiet. He hasn't said anything. And we're going to see in some of these videos coming up. This is what I lost my train of thought on earlier. Where she actually says that he, after the raid, was on social media boasting about the fact that nothing was going to happen to him, and all his fake accounts were telling Katie Joy she was wrong and all these things. I didn't witness any of that. There's none of that. We didn't see any of that. There might be people that truly believe Katie Joy is wrong, and doesn't mean they work for Robert Shin, doesn't mean they're affiliated with Robert Shin, doesn't mean they have any connection to Robert Shin. They just think Katie Joy is full of shit. There actually are people on that side of the fence, on this side of the fence, that see what Katie Joy has done. Robert Shin has never come out and said anything. He's been quiet. He's played it perfectly. And in my opinion, by him hiring this guy, that is the biggest statement he can make. Thank you, Brenda. It's distracting me because I'm like, well, are they, why are they barking? Yeah, he's this huge public figure. Nobody heard of him. Remember back in the day when she was going, I don't even know, I can't find a picture of him. He doesn't want to be seen. It's not that he was trying to hide to be seen, Katie Joy, because he's this person that you're trying to make him out to be. He just wasn't a public figure. He was a public figure within his church, and that kind of thing, maybe his small community. But he wasn't an online presence like Miranda and James. I mean, there's no denying that Miranda and James are public figures. The only things we know about Robert Shin is from KJ and crew. And that's what's scary, Short Order Cook. That's what's scary. You got a notification. That's good. Oh, you're going to be in Minnesota, Mama Celeste, in September. Too bad the trial can't hurry and be in September. Yeah, I agree, Helen. When Miranda turned around and sued her. Okay, so when Miranda did not leave this quote unquote cult, because Katie Joy knows what's best for her. She knows Miranda's life better than Miranda knows her own life, right? She knows these things. And so when Katie Joy told her to leave and she didn't, Katie Joy took that personally. And then it's like she's had this, she just needed to get revenge ever since then. And then, she sued her. So then whenever Miranda's name is on this lawsuit, pissed her off even more. And as much as she wanted to be like, oh, she's a victim, she is a victim. She's a victim of you, Katie Joy, right? So far, after 4 years in the public eye, there's not been any, and during a federal investigation, and with Miranda coming out saying that she's perfectly fine, Katie Joy has made people believe that nobody's heard from her. That's bullshit. She has friends that she talks to outside of here. Outside of social media, right? And outside of being with 7M. 7M is no longer existing, okay? So we have to make that a point too. 7M no longer exists. Remember she accused Allison Holker. Saying that Allison Holker knows that and we're going to be getting to that soon. It was false to say that nobody's heard from her since the raid, since they deleted their social media accounts. That's bullshit. She just wants people to get into that fear zone, right? So all these things that she has said about Miranda, to me, she was pissed off that Miranda never agreed with her, that Miranda didn't go, yeah, right, Katie Joy. I don't know what I'm talking about. I know nothing about my own existence. Oh, thank you so much for sending those. Is that a dog treat, Zuna? I didn't see it come across because the way I have it set up, I don't see it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So let's go ahead and start watching these, y'all. Okay, so far we've done 1 through 139 on the live streams. In my videos that I have on the channel, I actually have them in a playlist. I think we've gotten up to 160 something. So we're going to try to get through as many as we can today, starting at 140. Now, where this is right now, even though she's wearing this ridiculous sweater, fucking turtleneck, it's July. It was June or July. Okay. I get it. She's in Minnesota, but still. So don't let it fool you that she made this in the winter. This was right during, it would have been May of 2024 because the docuseries had just come out. So we're catching up and restarting where we left off last time. Hey, Purple Dragon Shield, good to see you. We're just about to start going back over Katie Joy's statements, starting at number 140 on the complaint out of the 212. The amended complaint, as we know, is 212 statements that 7M are considering defamatory. We've gone through number 1 through 139 in past lives. I've done it in the videos on my channel. They're under a playlist. And there's actually already a video out where we start with this one, but we're going to go through this together so we can just chat about it and talk about it and do it in real time. Some people prefer it this way. Some people prefer having it just where they don't have the commentary of me talking and all that. Hold on. I need to. All right. So here we go. This is number 140 out of 212. This is where, in my opinion, when she says no one has heard from Miranda, she's talking about Miranda's parents and sister, right? You're right. She's making it sound like nobody, like this whole narrative of they're locked in a dungeon somewhere. But even when she was saying that, I saw Miranda on somebody else's page. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say when or why. That's why I didn't say anything about it and didn't call anything out, because she was still kind of in that stage. And then eventually she had to leave because everybody was just attacking her. But she was able to do things with other people. She has people on the regular. Miranda is close to this family. So James Derrick's family has heard from them and seen them. Okay? People have seen them. Katie Joy saw her, for fuck's sake. Katie Joy saw her in person at the hearing on February 9th that Katie Joy has never spoken about since. Here's one thing I want to say before we start this, because this is something that just kind of sparked my my brain the other day. We have talked a lot about what it could be that made Katie Joy stop talking after February 9th. When this all happened with the change of lawyer, typically that's something Katie Joy would talk about, right? Thank you, Brenda. That's something we need to talk about, right? Because Katie Joy nobody's ever made her stop talking. And I'm trying to catch up on, I'm back in StreamYard, so I'm trying to catch up in chat because I want to put that up on screen. Thank you, Brenda. Nobody's ever really been able to shut her up. And so we're like, why? Why is she quiet? You know, and I have all these different theories rolling around in my mind, whatever. You know, I'm never going to state anything as fact. One thing that came to mind was what we have to remember. And I also put it in the video. So if y'all watch the video I put out on Sunday, she actually says, my legal team has given me full permission to say whatever I want. Now, she said that back in the spring of 2023, right? So that was a while ago. Okay. When the docuseries came out, which is about where we're starting today, okay, we're starting like mid, after the docuseries came out. Once the docuseries came out, moving forward, they just got worse and worse and worse. February 9th, they were in-person hearings. So you're lying. People have seen Miranda. Miranda was in Minnesota, you dumb bitch. And you saw her. And anyways, Katie Joy made a video that day, and then she never spoke about it again. We knew the hearing was happening. Just a few days, I think it showed on the docket February 4th. The hearing was February 9th. No, it showed on the docket February 6th. The hearing was February 9th. But 7M on the 4th of February filed a motion to amend the complaint. Thank you so much, Hot Tea Drinker, for sending the bone. I appreciate that. Those are so cute. So February 9th is the last time we've heard from Katie Joy. February 4th, 7M filed their motion to amend the complaint. Motion to amend the complaint, it had the 212 statements in it. Did Katie Joy's attorney not know all the things she had said? Was she that far out of the loop that she didn't know all the things that Katie Joy was saying, and we're about to start hearing them now? Did she not know? Did it take February 9th for 7M to go into the court? And Katie Joy made a video about this. These are Katie Joy's own words, that they came in saying that I accused him of sex crimes, which she goes, I never have, which yes, you have. I've made a video about that too. That they're trying to frame me for the raid happening, saying that it's my fault that the raid happened, right? So she went and she made that video. Knee jerked like she always does. So they said something to the court. She even said her own words where they said to the court, anything I say forward from here, they're going to hold against me. She goes, but I'm not going to be silenced. But she has been. She hasn't spoken since. She hasn't said shit about this new attorney. She hasn't said anything. Anything that is about a lawsuit and other things that she's covering, normally she reverts back and she always goes, but I'm being sued by this cult leader and blah, blah, blah. I've been being sued since 2024, but it's no big deal. I'm going to get out of it. I'm wondering if it wasn't until February 4th when 7M filed the motion to amend the complaint, and they saw, and her attorney saw in there these 212 statements, is that what made her stop? I always said, no, there's no way. Her attorneys can't make her stop talking. Like, she hasn't listened to them in the past. Did they threaten to fire her if she doesn't stop talking? Because clearly 7M made it very clear to the court that this is an issue. Now, granted, the judge has denied both motions for an injunction, for an injunctive relief, both times, saying we can't, we're not going to silence her. But did Katie Joy's attorney finally step in and be like, stop talking? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea what Katie Joy's legal team has advised her to do. We have no idea. Yeah, she knee jerks at everything, doesn't she, Jill B? Goose, I'm starting to wonder if maybe that is it. Before I'm like, nah, nobody's told her to stop. But apparently something, it came up. It must have been really bad during that that hearing, and then she hasn't spoken since. And then the motion for the amended complaint was granted, and now, as we know, that's the motion in play. I mean, that's the what am I saying? That is the amended complaint is. That's it. That's what we're following. You think Todd Chris will be the one to shut her up? I think he's going to shut her up even more after she's been shut up by Robert Shin. I think he's going to swoop in. We think Katie Joy's at a low now. Guarantee you she's not at her lowest, y'all. She's not at her lowest. She's still in her mind, I think, thinks that she has this. I think in her mind, she might even think that this super lawyer's afraid of her. I don't know. No telling. Can't tell. Can't say. Don't take my words on that. Those are just my opinions. I don't know how she feels or thinks. Right? But whatever it is, she's not at her lowest yet. So I think that Todd Chrisley's going to swoop in, at some point when she's down, really kick her when she's down. I don't know. I could be wrong. What do y'all think? What do y'all think?
Truth will rise just like the sun every day. Two things you can be guaranteed of is that the sun's going to come up tomorrow and that the truth will be revealed. And it's going to be revealed about you, YouTuber. I understand she gets upset, folks, when you call her a YouTuber.
Y'all, that'll never get old. Okay, he said that way back before he sued her. But I think he's going to sue her again. All right, here we go. Number 140.
I served as an archival consultant, and I was instrumental in helping to provide archives of records, whether it be videos, legal records, posts, reporting, or whatever they needed from a journalistic standpoint to help them put together the story. Because I was the person that broke the story in March of 2022.
Okay. So here we've got this big braggadocious statement of I'm the one that broke the story, where before she, and it was even in one of her declarations, that she spoke about it, but she wasn't the only one speaking about it, and she spoke about it after, right? And then she included, as exhibits, she included all of these news articles that other publications had put out, but they all came out after Katie Joy started to talk about it. So here we are, the Netflix docuseries is coming out. She thinks that this is going to vindicate her, this one-sided bullshit story that nobody even hears from Miranda, nobody hears from James, which just further makes it look like, oh yeah, they're being completely silenced, they're shut down. No, they're being smart about not responding. And when people respond to things like this, it just make people just interpret them as guilty, right? And that's exactly what happened. And again, I've got to finish this other video I'm working on, that every time Miranda tried to speak out, all she was silenced. So she finally learned, you know what? I'm not going to win. I just have to separate myself. And it's fucking sad, y'all. It's so sad. But Katie Joy was like, no, I'm not responsible for this. No, I'm not responsible for this initially. Then when this came out and she's like, yeah, he's going down. He's going down. She's like, yeah, I broke the story, because she has to brag about it. She has to brag about it. This isn't the only time we hear her say this. Yeah, this big one-sided documentary. I know, Helen. And look, here's the thing. With the docuseries, when it comes to Priscilla's story and Melanie's story, I'm not going to say my opinion on that. Okay? Those are their stories to tell, and they were told. Whether they're victims or not, I'm not going to say what my opinion is, but they were able to tell their stories. Okay? People felt for them. And that's what this if this was what they needed to tell, this is what the docuseries should have been about. What Robert Shin has done to them, okay? But no, they needed to use Miranda's image. They needed to instill this bigger story that's going to instill fear into people. They needed that story. That's what they needed. They needed Miranda's image. And by Miranda not speaking, by James not speaking, right? That just, and it did, sadly, what it did is it just validated what they're saying is true. Look, she can't even speak, y'all, because every time she did try to speak, they just silenced her. Oh, no, she's brainwashed. She's being told to do these things. Those aren't her words. So they're just pushing her further and further in. If there's anywhere for her to even be pushed into, So they think she's in a cult, but they're going to push her further in. None of it's ever made sense to me. This docuseries should have only been about the victims who are willing to come out and talk about it. And they should have mentioned Miranda. Melanie made herself a victim in this. I get it that the family feels that they are a victim of Robert Shin because of their daughter. I get it. But the way that this turned out, everybody came out against Miranda. It was all about Miranda. Why? Because of her image. Priscilla and Melanie tried to start up social media. They started up a podcast. It was not successful, y'all. It didn't take off. It didn't do all the things they thought. Priscilla, since now off of social media, is my understanding. These things did not take off. You had these dancers coming out and saying, yeah, we walked away. When Katie Joy is saying these dancers were trapped in there, and if they even tried to escape, they would get beaten. And we're going to start seeing that and hearing it. Okay, I'll shut up.
My archives were very extensive. My list of contacts with sources was also very extensive, and level of control of the day-to-day lives that Robert Shin exhibits on the people underneath.
If you haven't been here to watch these with me before, if you haven't watched my videos where it just flashed, okay, that's in between the statements that 7M has included. We're not going to play the whole live stream, obviously. So they took specific statements out of this live stream that Katie Joy did in June. I believe it was June of 2024. It was either June or July 2024. Okay. So when you see the flash, that's between the statements. That's me separating the statements that they have in the amended complaint.
His control infuriates people. More importantly, there's a wider concern from the public that a man that has been accused by more than 3 women of SA is walking the streets in California with absolutely no repercussions and no safety for other women that are.
Okay. That's a pretty bold statement, but she's still kind of using it under the guise. Now this is 2024. It's still a little under the guise of, this is what I've been told. This is alleged. But then in the next sentence, she'll say it as a fact, but then she kind of goes back and forth. Still bad.
Law enforcement to date has not taken any of this seriously. And part of that is because Robert is surrounded by people that enable him, that protect him, and that are also committing crimes with him. So they are unwilling to come forward under their own fears of potential retaliation by Robert, harass me into being silent. That's saying that she blatantly said law enforcement is not doing their job, and the people with him are committing crimes with him. So now she's accusing them of crimes and saying that law enforcement's not doing their job. Threats which I received were horrific. Obviously, I'm not going to go into detail because the police are involved in my county, and I have spoken to the FBI. These are not limited to.
So Melly, has anyone seen who in the last almost 3 years? Are you talking about Katie Joy? Are you talking about Miranda?
To me, they are threats against my son, my family, myself. But the main source of the threat is that these people are telling me that unless I stop talking about Robert Shin and remove my defamatory.
So Katie Joy, this was June of the summer of 2024. She showed her face. Then in the summer of 2025, let's call it the beginning of 2025. She showed her face on TikTok. So it's been a little over a year probably that anybody's seen her face. She tried to say at one point, I did a video on this too. If you go through my videos, you'll see some of this stuff where she was saying that I'm so terrified of Robert Shin, I'm never going to show my face. I'm not going to show my face. And then literally like a month later, she's showing her face on TikTok.
Content about Robert Shin off of my platforms, they will come and hurt me or potentially kill me or my son.
So she accused Robert Shin of getting all these people to send her threats, quote unquote creators, which, I take offense to that because anybody that talks negatively about Katie Joy, all of us have been doing this well before she was sued. Okay. This channel that I'm on right now, my original channel, I deleted. It had nothing to do with Katie Joy. Okay. It doesn't even matter. I thought I was done with YouTube. I thought I was done. And then, anyways, I've dedicated my time to talk about this case solely, just this lawsuit for the most part. Not solely, but 90%, right? I've been talking about Katie Joy since before she was sued. These other accounts, some of these people have been with her since Facebook times. When she was doing blogging and all that kind of stuff. People weren't talking shit about Katie Joy because of Robert Shin. They're talking shit about Katie Joy because Katie Joy is Katie Joy. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I was talking shit about Katie Joy because in my opinion, Katie Joy is a total piece of shit. I was talking about Katie Joy because I don't like Katie Joy. Renelle has been in my chat and said the same thing. She talked about Katie Joy well before this because of Katie Joy's actions. She accused Renelle Smith and Balls 2.0, the Instagram account Balls. She's been in chat before, I think. WOACB versus WOACB. She accused them. They've been in my chat before too, to say no. She accused all of them of these threats that they were willing, they were going to unalive her. They were going to unalive her son. They were going to RAPE her son. Okay. All these threats. Don't even get me started on my theory behind all of that because we'll be here forever. And it's just a theory. I stick to the facts, but she accused everybody, but she said it's because Robert Shin paid everybody. They're paid by Robert Shin.
It's very strange to me that even though the series is now out and it's very public and you are hearing voices of actual victims and people that have been hurt by Robert, that somehow Robert and his group of trolls are still trying to make this about me. This has never been about me.
Bullshit, Katie.
And it should never be about
It's always
me.
about you.
I was one tiny part of a bigger picture of a series. And the reason I was involved was because I broke the story and I had sources that I could help bring to the series. And I had an archive of reporting that was used in the series.
Okay. So let's look at why we think 7M used that statement. Yeah. I know she was talking about Gypsy and then she would lead into this lawsuit. Yeah. She did it with everything she was talking about. You're right, Jill B. So some of the TikTok videos weren't dedicated to 7M, but she would sneak them in. And I think she did that knowing or thinking that 7M wasn't watching her. And because it wasn't titled anything about 7M, that she was not going to say anything, that she probably wouldn't be heard saying it as easily. Could be it, probably not, but, or she just got ahead of herself and maybe she was drinking, whatever it may be. Hey, Mary Winchester. Everyone disliked her before 7M. Yes, how big was the Reddit? Right? There's been a Discord regarding her. There's been a subreddit regarding her that had 15,000 people that were in there. She somehow that was taken down. Obviously, it was at her request, so she did it herself or had somebody help her take it down. Whatever. That's down. I never was in there much. I'm not a big fan of Reddit in general. And I can see why she would want that down. So it is what it is. But there's a lot of people have disliked her. But there's a reason why 7M is using this clip. Okay? Because she's basically saying, I gave all the archived shit to Netflix docuseries. And to have those things for the series means that series could be pitched. Once you secure the talent, contract them down, the pitch can be and this is I think we're going to hear that in the next one, that she was there for the pitch and she took such glee over it.
I might have broken the story back in 2022, but this series is about so much more than Katie Joy Paulson. He has made people believe inside of his church that I am trying to kill them. So it's hard to know what kind of messaging that Miranda's getting, but what I will tell you is what I'm getting is I am getting actual
Me. Miranda's a victim, y'all. I've been screaming this whole time, get Miranda out, get Miranda out. Miranda's in danger. Miranda's the victim. Help Miranda, help Miranda. And she says, yeah, Miranda says she's getting threats, but now she's gonna make it all about her. Yeah, this sub was taken over. How many are in that Reddit now? Subreddit.
Emails from people threatening to kill me, threatening to kill my son, threatening to rape my son and then kill me.
Me.
Threatening to bury my son and I in 6 feet under the ground. Threatening to take images of my son and put him in child corn or, CSAM. Threatening to do all kinds of horrific things to me to stop me talking about Robert Shin. He's using a model that Scientology has used to deflect from the seriousness of the series. And I don't want to be a part of the story.
I've never wanted to be a part of the story. I don't want to be sued by Robert Shin.
So these
I was
emails
asked-
that were sent out, all these things where Katie Joy is saying that she's getting all these emails. This is 2024, y'all. I have an opinion in this. My opinion is Robert Shin had nothing to do with it. And the people such as Rennell and Balls and all the people she accused, and myself, I'll include myself in that, and any other creator that is open in the public about talking about Katie Joy, I would bet anything I own, nobody was behind this on this side. Nobody. I think the call came from inside the house. This is 2024.
At the pitch, when we pitched
All right,
this
Purple.
to Netflix, it's about criminal behavior. It's
Thanks for
about
stopping in, Purple.
human trafficking. It's about alleged sexual behaviors,
That was my aneurysm.
alleged sex crimes, police in Los Angeles not doing their work.
Okay,
And-
so how are they not doing their work? Because they're not going in and arresting him like you're demanding them to do? Because maybe they have found nothing. Maybe there's no findings. Brenda says, weren't the emails traced back to herself? I don't think that's the case. I don't believe that there's been like absolute definitive proof that I have read or seen that would tell me, yes, that's the case. I'm saying, and I'm alleging, and this is my belief, and this is just, don't take my word for it. I believe the call came from inside the house.
And that's where it is today. It's not about theology. It's about criminal behavior. I actually was talking to the deputy today that was at my house. And I said, if you would treat him just like a criminal organization, like look at him like he's the mafia, that would give you a better explanation of what he's doing than if you were to compare him to religion.
Y'all, there are so many hours of her live streams and when she was on News Nation that this jury is going to have to listen to. Okay. Just put yourself in a jury situation. She just accused, gets worse too. Y'all, this really, in my opinion, this isn't the worst of it. It gets worse than this, y'all. Steadily. Here she says, okay, so with these, what's highlighted is what is included in the amended complaint. Robert Shin loves Hillsong. Despite the church's ties to SA and labor trafficking, perhaps Robert finds solace in the like-minded leaders of Hillsong, birds of a feather. And then all of these hashtags, right? And we have to remember the judges ruled that these hashtags that are included in her posts are considered a whole. That this whole that even if she's not talking about sex trafficking or whatever it may be, right? That's included. If there's a hashtag sex trafficking, then the judge is saying, okay, well then yes, this post is about sex trafficking. Even if she doesn't like make it in the meat of it, whatever the hashtag is, that's bad for Katie Joy in itself. Yep, she's an expert on everything. Why do some people stay with Robert Shin? He gives those that are most obedient people to control and power to force compliance in lower ranking members. His church is like a giant pyramid scheme. With each new level, hold on. Is it playing? Oh, it's just so slow. I can't tell. Hold on. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to speed it up. Hold on. Oh, geez, Louise. With each new level, members get more control, access to money, gifts, and power in the church. They are trained to believe that getting closer to the top is being closer to God. As people gain more power, they take on Robert's arrogance and narcissism because they are told that they are anointed. Those that don't obey are punished, isolated, allegedly beaten, and at times held in rooms for weeks, months at a time. Okay, you just made all these statements as fact. And then it's, well, they're allegedly beaten. And they're, and at times held in rooms for weeks, months at a time. Months, y'all. No one wants to be on the bottom. So they all compete to get to the top. Robert creates a system. Okay, this is not alleged. This isn't, I believe it is as a fact. Robert, as she's stating as a fact, Robert creates a system where his victims become abusers of other members. Members that leave often have trauma, not only from Robert, but from other members in the group. Now, listen, in cult situations, in high controlled environments, these things do happen. What she's saying is a true situation that happens within these groups. In fact, the situation that we were talking about earlier that's happening in Minnesota right now, the arrest for the sex trafficking ring, whatnot. Apparently, one of the people that is now one of the high, recruiters that would recruit and that owned some of the locations where these things would happen, like that person was actually trafficked in. They were actually a victim that ended up being an abuser in themselves. Okay, these things do happen, and Katie Joy knows that, right? Because it's systematic. We see it. It's just something that happens within a quote unquote cult. These high controlled environments, right? She knows this. She knows it happens, but she doesn't know that it's happening in this scenario. She's saying that it is, but she doesn't know that. I don't know, Virginia. I've always wondered what her husband thinks too, but we've seen times where he puts himself in the middle of it. So it's been a while since we've seen anything about him. That's why I don't talk about her husband much or at all, because he doesn't put himself in it. He has before. But I haven't seen anything. If I'm just talking about the lawsuit, then I'm talking about the lawsuit. But yeah, I haven't seen him do much. Now, he did show to court with her, apparently, which he should as a husband. I don't know what he thinks. I can't even imagine. I don't get it. My husband would have stopped this shit a long time ago. He wouldn't care about no golden egg, right? If I was a goose that's spitting out golden eggs, he'd be like, look, get your shit together. You're acting a fool. Okay? You're going to get us sued one day and we're going to end up in the poorhouse. I don't give a fuck about the gold right now. We would rather live in a cardboard box with high integrity and morals. And my husband is that way. He would never allow this. This is my situation. So I don't know what her husband thinks. That's on them. Yeah, he supports her. That's all I need to know about him, SD says. Okay, so here's another post where, ladies, if your husband ever follows, why did I just stutter there? Hold on. Ladies, let me try this again. Ladies, if your husband ever allows another man to use you as a sacrificial lamb to fight his battles, divorce him now. So she's referring, and people are going to take it as this, she's referring to James and Miranda here. James being Miranda's husband. And also the other couple that are still with 7M at this point. That still are. What 7M doesn't exist, okay? Let's just make that clear. That dissolved because of all this shit. Every partner should fight and protect their spouse and not allow another man to use their spouse as a pawn in a game while also placing her in harm's way of an alleged serial rapist and sex trafficker. Thank you, Skynet. Hey, Brenda. Thank you, Skynet, so much for the gifted membership. Brenda, welcome to our little clan of, what do we call ourselves? What is it? Mutton's cousins? Mutton's cousins. That's what we are over here.
Thank you so much, my mutton friend. Just remember that I would not be here if it weren't for y'all. And for that, I love you so dang much.
Goose, I know. Goose, do you happen to have another account, another channel on YouTube? And you can make as many as you really want because of Gmail. I'm just curious why you don't get them. Virginia as well. There are people that haven't been in my chat for months that I saw when I was gifting out memberships. They received a membership, which is just, great. Obviously, but the ones that are here every single day, come on, YouTube, come on. Here's another one that made me really mad. Robert is exposed. Oh, is he now? Robert is exposed. Exposed by who, Katie Joy? By you? Robert is exposed for arranging Miranda and James's marriage. This is, we've talked about this for so long, and I'm going to continue talking about this, and it gets worse. Okay, so I'm not going to focus on it too much here because when the raid happens in July, it gets worse. But basically, she's saying, that he arranges their marriages, and she knows. Okay, this is where defamation comes into play. She knows they're married at this point. Has discovery happened by this point? Maybe not. But she had been told that they're married, and she's selling this narrative to everybody. And I was talking to someone yesterday about it, and they're like, remember when she was arguing about the green screen? No, they weren't married in Vegas. That was a green screen. And she was so pissed off, and she's drinking her drink, and she's so mad. And it's so clear it's not a green screen. But and that's what defamation is, y'all. She is arguing a fact in her mind. She's stating as a fact, no, they are not married. That was a green screen. They did not get married in Vegas. They were not in Vegas getting married. That is a green screen. So basically by saying it's a green screen, they were never in Vegas. So she's arguing a fact. That's what an argument is. She's arguing something that she's stating as a fact, that they are not married. And that is going to be one of the things that bites her in this lawsuit. That's my opinion. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things they're going to find, that they're absolutely going to find as defamatory. Robert tells people God wants them married, and he marries them in his living room or at the dining room table. So arranged marriages are actually illegal. That's a false statement. Arranged marriages are not actually illegal. No, you're not going to hell, Donna. If so, we'll all see you there. We'll all go down in flames with you. Hey, Tina. I know Skynet gifted a membership to herself. And I had to say, congratulations and thank you at the same time. Yeah, Brenda. I did too. I'll go check my email. I'm like, what? I got a gifted membership to them? How does her mind come up with these things? I don't know. What voices are telling her what? I mean, yeah, we'll just have a party in hell, right? Hopefully we won't have to sit next to Charles Manson and Jim Jones, that Katie Joy is obsessed with, because she says Robert Shin is just like Jim Jones. How many people are drinking Katie Joy's Kool-Aid? That's all I want to know. So I guess this post is another fake out by Robert. He's probably told they are sponsored. He's probably told them they're sponsored. This has to do with Stanley. And like, why? Again, here's the thing. You are saying Miranda's a victim. Why do you keep putting her in the limelight in such a negative way, knowing she's going to get hate, knowing she's going to get pushback? Why? I messaged Stanley and they confirmed they are not partnering with or sponsoring either one. Thank God. Now, Katie Joy responded to somebody saying that. Exactly, Jill B. Child arranged marriages, maybe, but not two consenting adults. And I guess you're saying, well, if it's arranged, are they consenting? There's an argument behind there, right? But they were married. They were, they put this narrative out knowing that a lot of people weren't going to know or connect the dots, that Miranda and James were a couple before James became part of 7M, before he was involved with Isaiah Shen, right? They were a couple. James lived with the Wilkings during COVID. Yeah, well, I'll have a Spanish bread for the celebration. Hey, Shayna Lee. Yeah, it's true. I agree with you. The longer men remain in the cult, they become accomplices to Robert. So here she's obviously referring to and implying that James is guilty of this, right? No, the longer men remain in the cult, they become accomplices to Robert. Many know their wives are being abused and don't care, or they help Robert. So basically he's saying clearly James knows that Miranda's being abused. Oh, crap. Hold on. Many know their wives are being abused and don't care, or they help Robert. Robert also allegedly passes off women to the guys. Allegedly, this is why he's being sued for sex trafficking. At least she's using the word allegedly there. See, this is where I want to see the craftsmanship, right? The skill of this new attorney. When Jennifer Moore is like, well, she's saying allegedly. I want to see how this statement can be considered defamatory, even with the term, with the word allegedly. I don't know. Can it? I don't know. We're gonna watch that play out, hopefully. Have a good day, Purple. I'm sure she had no dealings with the sponsors. Oh yeah, she said yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is they want it to be where she knows that when she puts this out there, that her flying monkeys are going to go do their job. She knows they're going to go contact these sponsors. She knows what's going to happen. She also knows when that happens that Miranda Derrick's going to get hate. If you're trying to protect Miranda Derrick so strongly, why are you putting all this out? Why? There's plenty of other things to say about Robert Shin. If this is about Robert Shin and you don't hate Miranda and you don't want anything to happen to Miranda, there's plenty of other things you can say about Robert. And then she says, daily reminder that this man is still walking free. Robert Shin, the man with 9 lives. Will authorities finally take him down? See, these statements, these posts are part of 7M's argument. I'm pretty damn sure it's part of 7M's argument that, look, this raid that happened on Robert Shin and his properties, Katie Joy is out here disseminating all this information. She's out here encouraging people to contact all the agencies. Dear James, no one is gossiping about you. They're reporting about the crimes surrounding your pastor. This is not gossip. Sex crimes, okay, so she's stating as a fact here, sex crimes are events that need to be discussed for public safety. Wake up. So here, in a twisted way, she's stating as a fact that James, your pastor, is committing sex crimes. So I'm just trying to read chat too. I wonder if Charlie would be able to find out how many times she herself called the FBI or cops on Shin. She's admitted to when she's talked to the FBI about Shin. I feel that has become an issue. Keep in mind, this case is civil. Would they have had to find things during their civil case to say, hey, we feel Katie Joy was really behind this and this is why? Sure, they're going to find him. Keep in mind, Robert Shin has money, clearly. This new attorney he just hired, okay? Again, a statement. He has money. It takes someone like Robert Shin who has money and is willing to spend it to hire a private investigator, hire people that have access to these forms of communication, this realm of information, right? There are some very, very, very good private investigators that know the ranks. They know how to get the information. Why? Because they were part of the FBI. Why? Because they were detectives before. Those kind of things. If Robert Shin wants to know this information, I guarantee you he has it. So then that leads to, well, does that become a criminal aspect? Making false reports to the FBI? See what I'm saying? I wonder if Miranda thinks that she's sponsored by Drink Prime. So let's just call Miranda an idiot. Miranda, Katie Joy is just saying, Miranda, you're a fucking idiot. You are just sitting here with your beautiful, look how beautiful Miranda is, y'all. She is just so incredibly just stunning, right? She's demure, all the things. The jury's going to love her. And it pisses Katie Joy off. So she's like, Miranda, you're an idiot. She, here she is with Prime Drink, and she goes, I wonder if Miranda thinks that she's sponsored by, and she tagged Drink Prime. I'm guessing this is more fake advertising by Robert Shin. And this is where I'm going to say it. Plug your ears if you don't want to hear cussing. Fuck you, Katie Joy. This right here is attacking Miranda, not Jane, not Robert. You're saying it's Robert doing this, but look at the picture you're putting up. Look at the image. It's the image people put in their mind. People see this. It's the image of Miranda. It's Miranda that they see here. She pisses me off so much, y'all. So much. And this is another one, obviously, that's, y'all. So you can see from, if you watched any of my live streams or the videos I have on the channel, where we started with number 1 and got up to like 140. You can see how these get worse as time goes on. And these aren't the worst of them. These aren't the worst of them, y'all. I know, Donna. It's wild, isn't it? Yeah, you want it to be like the Depp Heard, but and I think there's some similarities to it, but you know what I mean. See, Goose says, yeah, it's gonna be like that. And someone says she looks sad, and she says they look exhausted. I wish Robert would just let them go. Again, other dancers came out and said they walked away. He's, this right here, Miranda's going to be on the stand going, I was not held captive. But Katie Joy is out here saying Robert needs to let them go. Now, Katie could say, well, I was just saying psychologically, like he's holding them captive psychologically. But what is a jury going to say? What would just a standard person who's watching this and reading this, what would you take from this? And I'm going to ask you this. What would you take from this? They look exhausted. I wish Robert would just let them go. How do you take that? Miranda's exhausted by Katie Joy's claims. To me, it sounds like she's saying he's holding them captive. He's labor trafficking. I mean, he's overworking them. He's trafficking them. He's, making them do all this work. They're exhausted, but he's holding them captive while they're doing it, basically. And again, Miranda and James under oath will tell their side of the story. And then how do you say that this is just an opinion? She's being labor trafficked. Do you really think that she has a choice? Robert coerces, manipulates, threatens, and has allegedly had people beaten when they try to leave. Also, the person who did this beating hopefully will be a witness for 7M to say this I whooped this chick's ass. Okay, I don't know if this is the case, but yeah, I whooped her ass, and it had nothing to do with her leaving. It had to do with her stealing something. It had to do with her and my man. It had to do with her XYZ. She stole my shoes. I don't know, right? There was one physical altercation that has happened, and it was between Robert Shin's wife and one of the women in the docuseries. They got in an altercation. Katie Joy is saying it's because they tried to leave. She also said in the very beginning during live streams, drunk live streams, I'm going to say they're drunk live streams. That's just my opinion because you were drinking wine. I don't know what your weight limit is. Okay. I don't know what your threshold is, but I'm just going to say drunken live streams because you said some stupid shit. My opinion. That they had to escape in the middle of the night for all this dramatic, effect. They had to escape in the middle of the night, and when they did, they got their asses whooped, right? There was one physical altercation from what we understand, and it didn't have to do with her trying to leave. Now, keep in mind, this person left and came back several times. Okay, let's just say at least a couple, okay? Left more than once. I'll put it that way. That's probably a safe way to say. And came back more than once. So which time was it that they tried to leave? Did they came back? You see what I'm saying here? What's the jury going to think on this? One of those people is suing his wife for the beating. No, there is not a lawsuit for the beating. His wife is also Miranda's mentor. Okay. There's not a lawsuit, a separate lawsuit where this person is suing Hannah Shin for this assault. It's just not true information. So that's where the argument comes in. Does Katie Joy know that she's stating this as a fact, but she knows it's not true? Yeah, I think so too, Jill, that it's insinuated. Yes, she did call them slaves. In fact, I was just putting in a couple more of the clips from her YouTube that I hadn't done yet. It's, what number are we on? 154. It comes up in the 160s, but she has short order cook. And they included it in the amended complaint. There's just something about Miranda's eyes and expressions. She seems sad. And Katie says, I'm not a psychologist, but a lot of people in cults are disassociating from the trauma they are experiencing to cope. There is also a lot of fatigue because he works them nonstop. She's so screwed, y'all. Joanne Cochran has mentioned several times that the church and 7M are two separate entities. Yeah. Yet Katie uses them interchangeably. Wonder when this will be brought up. It's been brought up. It's been in one of the pretty early on when it came to discovery and their motions to compel, and then actually in their interrogatories, there was a statement that eventually you could see that they made it known along the way that Shekinah and 7M are separate, and this lawsuit only involves 7M. So this case has been stated pretty early on. I'd say summer of 2024, maybe 2023. I'm trying to think whenever those motions to compel came out and they were ruled upon. I think they were ruled upon in January 2024. That seems a little late. Yeah, I think it was January 2024. Yeah, it would have had to been. It couldn't have been 23 because all these main motions that were filed in November of 2022, which is when the case initiated, was April 2022. Nothing had even really happened until summer 2023. So, anyways, sorry, I just rambled. But no, it's been made apparent in this case. But yeah, I mean, but Katie still does. And I think that's why she does it. Well, I'm talking about the church. I'm not talking about 7M. I'm specifically talking about Shekinah. See what I'm saying? So someone asked a question about Shirley, which is Shin's ex-wife. Shirley was groomed as a young teenager. How do you know that? How do you know that? I'm sure there's going to, it's going to be stated by Shirley that she was not groomed as a young teenager. She looks to Robert as a father, which makes their marriage and his abuse of her even worse. Shirley is 100% a picture of who Miranda could become. So it's important that they all free themselves. That is so bad. That is so bad. That is so bad. She's saying here that with 100% certainty, it is a 100% picture that Miranda is going to turn into Shirley. And she just said that Shirley was groomed as a young teenager. And then she married him. So she needs to free herself. Thank you so much, Short Order Cook. Thanks for all your hard work, Southern Mutton. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're going to play this one.
It has not been filed in court. If you are a YouTuber and you are talking about this case, You did not get it from me. You got it from the cult.
No, they didn't. And yes, it was found in court. And here we are 4 years later, and you've got a nightmare ahead of you. And your nightmare just walked in, and his name is John Ella. Yep. That's my opinion. The wine bottle. I mean, gotta have the Spanish red, right? A prediction from the crystal ball. You know what, Ruth Carroll? There are a lot of things that I see when I look back that she's so uncanny, like things that she said about other situations that she's going through herself. I wish I could think of some off the top of my head, but when I do, I'll bring it up. So number 154, I cannot get my head around why B dash lets Miranda get abused by Robert. Okay, so instead of Katie Joy saying, whoa, let's not, hey, Navajo Blondie, instead of saying, whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? We're not going to sit here and accuse B dash of letting Miranda be abused. We're not going to say that he's abused. That's an accusation. Don't go there. No. Katie Joy goes with it. She doesn't stop that narrative. She supports the narrative. And she says, a former member told me, okay, well, is this former member going to be a witness for you? This is where I'm really curious, like how this is going to play out. Well, a former member told me. You remember how many times we've heard her say that? Well, a former member told me. A former member told me. A former member told me that most the men in the group are well aware of what Robert is doing to the women. They allege that Robert has been known to pass off the women he's done with to other guys in the group that are loyal to him. The member also said that arranging the marriages makes the men less likely to care about their wives because they aren't in love with them. That is huge. Thank you, Jill B. Jill B says, yes, thanks, JJ, for your work on the lives, videos, and research. You're more than welcome. I appreciate you so much. I got this one for you. Talking about Spanish Red. This is AI. I have to say it.
I am all about ruining your life and laughing at your frivolous lawsuit you think you can file against me. But my legal team is the best dream team around, so good luck with that. But if you say anything about me publicly, I will scream victim faster than I will slam this bottle of cheap Spanish Red. Wait, I drank my last bottle for breakfast.
That one won't get old either. Thank you, Jill B. Okay. So she's saying here, this is so gross. I mean, and maybe this shit happens, right? Maybe he's a sex addict. Maybe I don't know. But, like I said, maybe their church is like, they celebrate orgies. I don't know. But if you're consenting adults, okay, how are these people? So former member told you that most of the men in the group are well aware that what Robert is doing to the women. They allege that Robert has been known to pass off the women he's done with to other guys in the group that are loyal to him. It could be like high school. I don't know. It could be like a big orgy party. I don't know. The member also said that arranging the marriages makes the men less likely to care about their wives because they aren't in love with them. This is pure accusation. She's saying, a former member told me. What if this former member is just bullshitting you? The member couldn't offer anything about James, but he said the men in the group know it's happening, especially after what went down in 2022. So why aren't you going to say, let's not jump to this conclusion, okay? That's just not a safe thing to say. Instead, she word salads it and tries to make it be like, well, somebody told me, because she wants her people to believe this shit. So annoying. Y'all, hang on. You know what I'm going to do? Hang on one second. I got to refresh my Well, it's not going to affect it because that's just YouTube. I'm refreshing. But I'm going to make sure it doesn't. Okay, let me see if that made it better. My chat was doing weird shit. It was like blinking. Okay, now it's not blinking. I thought I was having another glitch. I'm like, no, please tell me no. Oh, crap, y'all. I didn't put ice out for the rabbits. I just like it says it's 102 degrees. They're in a lot of shade today. Yesterday I didn't put them out till 1:30 and they were okay. It was actually pretty decent out there, believe it or not, in the shade. Okay, good. Moving on. We've already been on live 2 hours. Okay, what number are we on? 156. Here's 157. Oh, come on. Hold on. Let's get through this one, and I think I'm going to call it a day. You know, are you still in here, Unitopia or Skynet? Are you still in here? I was wondering if you'd be willing to check to see if anything has been filed. I don't assume anything would be filed at this yet. I don't know. Unless Katie filed something. I don't know. All right, so let's read this last one. Keep in mind, we're in 2024. They had the depositions in July of 2024. These depositions were never made public. They're sealed. But Katie Joy talks about them. I think she deleted this post. I can't remember. I had it, but I can't remember if it was deleted or not. It took me a while to find it. And I just put it, I remember putting in here late. Yeah, do you think, well, Jill B., okay, so a logical question. Do you think James and Miranda would be suing her if they didn't care and love each other? My answer is, of course they wouldn't be suing her. Katie Joy's answer, and she has said this, is they're only suing her because Robert Shin is making them sue her. So there's that. So here Katie Joy says, and again, this is still the summer of 2024, Robert Shin was deposed today in a court case. In the deposition, Robert swore under the penalty of perjury that calling his church a cult was an opinion and not defamation. And that's true. That's true. They're not suing over the fact that she called them a cult. And I told you, I know I've told you all about the other case that happened just a county over, where someone tried to sue somebody for calling them a cult, and it didn't happen. They're not suing her for that. Robert admitted that many of the statements reported in the articles and posts were not the words of the reporter. So now she's trying to remove herself from it, like the reporter. Just say it, Katie Joy. You already fucked up so bad at this point. Not the words of the reporter, but those are the people accusing him of the actions. Robert admitted that Miranda Derrick, James Derrick, and Vic White are still members of his church. Robert admitted he had no clue how he calculated the damages he claims to have suffered. Why is she talking about what happened in the depositions? It's not public knowledge. They're sealed. Later on, she moved the court to make the depositions public. That was denied. Robert could not name a single business deal, sponsorship, or client lost due to the reporting. Robert admitted that articles about Miranda were circulating outside a defendant and that had nothing to do with the defendant, yet had the same information. Robert could not prove damages and didn't know who put together the damages. Claimed, I think is what that said. Robert admitted that there was no defamation by the reporter. You mean by you, dipshit? Oh, my God. Not a good day for Robert Shin. I love how all this comes back to bite her in the ass. Not a good day for Katie Joy. She said this so many times, not a good day for Robert Shin. Why? Because he was deposed? And you think, this is how you know you have a shitty attorney. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Shitty attorney, my opinion. First of all, is that what your attorney's telling you? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this is just your opinion. Maybe this isn't your shitty attorney's opinion. Maybe this is just your opinion. that it's a bad day for Robert Shin, and that all the things he said, just her turning no that she was talking about the depositions, it just seems unwise. He also claimed that he never told Kylie Douglas or Aubrey Fisher to destroy evidence, despite both of them signing sworn declarations that his mentors forced them to delete evidence. I have copies of their sworn declarations. I'm going to go back and double check that. Because I wonder why 7M put this in here. Robert could not answer why he brought claims in two separate states alleging. What do you mean he could not answer why he brought claims in two separate states alleging the same claims against unrelated parties? Because he felt defamed. What do you mean he couldn't answer why he brought claims? I guarantee you Robert Shin answered why he brought claims in two separate states alleging the same claims against unrelated parties. They're the same claims. Katie Joy is affiliated with the Netflix docuseries. The Netflix docuseries, all the people affiliated with the Netflix docuseries, for the most part, are part of the civil lawsuit in LA. Make the fucking circle, Katie Joy. Connect those dots. I seriously doubt Robert Shin said that he had no idea about any of this. Well, I don't know why I make the same claims in Minnesota as I'm making in LA. Really? I find that hard to believe. Wasn't this the deposition that she wasn't supposed to say anything about, but she knew about? That's why she needed them unsealed, probably. But she already talked about them because this happened in 2024. She didn't request to have them unsealed until the end of 2025. Right, Donna? Who deletes evidence? Who's known for deleting evidence? So this one is where it gets really bad. This was a really bad live stream. Hold on. I got to look something up on my phone. Let me turn my mic off real quick on here. Can y'all hear me now? I'm muted because I didn't want y'all to hear a bunch of static. Thank you so much, Love Luna, for the laughing disco. I missed it. Boo. Thank you. I appreciate you, Love Luna. Okay, so my question, I wanted to go back and see 158. This live was done in 2024, August 23rd of 2024. This was a very bad live stream, y'all. We're going to get through 158. I believe 159 is the same live stream. Yeah. So there was, well, I don't even know if I want to say that out loud. But there was an error that I found. Anyways, let's play this. This is where, I've said that it just gets worse over time, right? For her, like the statements that she says just seem to get worse and worse, more defamatory. Okay. Yeah, what live isn't a disaster for Katie Joy? OSD, that's a good point, because he couldn't sue her in LA jurisdiction, and she knows that. But I mean, to say, yeah, and she knows that. But then to be like, well, he said that he doesn't know why he filed two separate ones with the same claims. Well, the same claims exist. The same claims are you provided information as there are related claims. She thinks that she's pulling a smooth one, and she's not. Robert Shin's attorney from day one has been way smarter. Okay, Amber Stavig knew what was happening here, and now this new guy is really going to whoop ass. Yeah, I mean, look, in the eyes of the law, Robert Shin still, you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, he was raided a year ago, over a year ago, a year and a month almost. Okay, thank you, Navajo Blondie. God. Anyways, let's watch this so I can wrap it up. This is bad, y'all.
And we want justice to be coming for Robert. We would love people to contact the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office and ask them why they haven't arrested Robert Shin yet. We would love for justice to be served and for Robert to be arrested, because no woman is safe with Robert on the streets. I know off the top of my head 10 women that have accused him of rape. That's a lot of women. That's serial raping right there, under the guise of being the man of God. And so, yeah, it's easy to get into the logistics of who's in and who's out, but the crux of it is that Robert is an alleged serial rapist, and he is dangerous. And he is also an alleged con man. He's also an alleged human trafficker, and he's dangerous. And he is a danger to society, in my opinion, and he needs to be arrested.
So he needs to be arrested. Here's the thing. She says he's an alleged sex trafficker. I mean, he's an alleged rapist or whatever, a serial. You have to be careful what you say on YouTube, rapist. But then in the same live stream, not long after, and they have them misnumbered here, okay? She says it as an absolute fact. Robert Shin is a serial rapist. Okay, let's listen to this one. 159, and then when this one's done, we're going to be done.
One thing that hasn't been very clear is that the women in this cult do not have any power or control. And Robert is a very misogynistic pastor. And even though Robert does not say this and he denies this, where he comes from is the Pentecostal New Apostolic Reformation, which believes in
Hey, Misty, that's all right. Ooh, have fun camping. Oh, and the fair. Have fun. All is well. All is well here. Be safe. Yeah, and that's another thing, short order cook. Her numbers for SA keep increasing. One time it was 5 or 6, then it was 9 or 10, then it was definitely 10. I know. Me neither. I don't know. I was going to say, I think hers. I'm like, no. And then I started, oh. Can it just be a tie? Can we make that one a tie, Misty Mo? I'm going to go back 10 seconds.
And though Robert does not say this and he denies this, where he comes from is the Pentecostal New Apostolic Reformation, which believes in...
And he does. He denies it. He straight up says, this is not what my church is based around. This is not what my religion is based around. This is not it. It's in his declaration. He has said that. She's saying, oh, it is. But why does it matter? Well, you can say it all you want as a fact that it's not what it is. Why? It's just so bad for her. Okay, thank you. You're going to let me make it a tie? I hope you have a great time, Misty.
Prophecy, the 7 Mountain Mandate, the 5-fold ministry is religious extremism. It's a lot of spiritual warfare. He really makes people feel fearful. He makes people feel like there is demonic attacks coming on them.
Look, how many, I can speak for my family and the generation that my parents grew up in. Okay. Let's just call it the 40s. And my dad saying to me, we grew up in an era that we walked into that church and we were told that if we did anything wrong, we were going to hell. Okay. I think that was a Methodist. I'm trying to think of what, I don't even remember what denomination. Anyways, regardless, I hear people say this all the time. I always felt like if I did anything wrong, I was going to hell. It's just, so for Katie saying this, it doesn't just apply to Robert Shin, for fuck's sake.
Wish it was that simple. I truly wish it was as simple as saying that, like, go feel like there is demonic attacks coming on them. I wish it was that simple. I truly wish it was as simple as saying that, like, go home, Miranda. you're being manipulated. There's people that are in, there's people that are out. They're telling people that they're out, but they're not out.
Who are they? Telling people that they're out, but they're not out. Like,
most of them were dancers that were dealing with job instability and were looking for success and help and management. And some of them were searching for God. And then this is how it all came to be.
Yeah, right, Misty. Yeah. We're all going to hell, y'all. She can go home, dumb KJ. Can't figure that out. Like, yeah, if Miranda wanted to go home, Miranda would go home. Just like these other dancers that wanted to leave just left. Miranda's an adult. She can make up her mind. I wish more people would respect that.
And unfortunately, they met people that wanted to exploit their talent and exploit their resources and exploit their good hearts and their loving natures. Robert Shin is suing me. Yes, he's been suing me for 2 years, but it's nothing to worry about.
Oh, God, never, ever, ever will that get old, y'all. Look, we're gonna do that one again. Never.
Their good hearts and their loving natures.
Yeah, you did it.
Robert Shin is suing me. Yes, he's been suing me for 2 years, but it's nothing to worry about. Robert filed so many frivolous lawsuits as a part of this docuseries, so there's really nothing. Everything he's suing me for was admitted in the series.
Bullshit, Katie Joy. Not okay. What he's suing you for was not admitted in the series. Okay. Well, okay. It was said in the series because you made the narrative. So what he's suing you for is that narrative. That narrative was Netflix. What the hell? Oh my God. Yeah, he's suing me, but it's nothing to worry about. But I know you're worried right now, Katie Joy. That has to suck so bad, knowing who Robert Shin has hired. Again, if you've not watched my last video, I actually made it under 20 minutes, which is pretty amazing. Yay me. That's a surprise, right? Go watch the other video about the attorney that Robert Shin has just hired. And look at a little history on Katie Joy. We talked about some of it at the beginning of this, but it's worth going to watch.
I mean, ultimately, Robert's goal is to, like, bleed them dry of money.
Yeah, and his goal is to bleed you dry of money. And guess what, bitch? He is succeeding because he's just made it very clear. The statement of him hiring this attorney, that retainer alone, okay, I would, this is just my guess. Anything under $75,000, I'd be shocked. My guess is definitely around $100,000 just for now. There'll probably be another retainer for a trial, you know, once they know for a fact this is headed to trial, right? Katie has said from day one, he knows she'll never survive this financially. He's a businessman. He's smart. He knows money. He has money. He knows that she's not a businesswoman. He knows that she got lucky on YouTube. He knows that she got in just at the right time. He knows that she has one niche and that she's not going to be able to be flexible from this. That if YouTube all of a sudden changes, then what? If she were to lose YouTube, where would Katie Joy be? She'd be in a horrible position, and Robert knows that. Okay? Robert Shin knows that. It's very clear that he knows that. So he's not trying to bleed anybody dry, in my opinion, but Katie Joy. I don't think he wants the lawsuit with the cross complainants in LA, if you want my opinion. The ex-dancers, the ex-members of the church. I don't think he wants that. I think we're going to see settlement over there. That's just my opinion. At least on the least on the cross complaint section of it. Oh, I know, Misty Mo. She's gross. It's just so gross.
And all the money's going to him. So he has all these different shell companies that he sets up. He's got like 7M, he's got Studio on the Mount, he's got Glory Bag Records, he's got Shin Entertainment.
Good for him. Good for him. He's got all this money coming to him because he's spending it suing your dumbass.
He's got RCB Financial, he's got Alpha Plus, he's got all these different companies, and it's just him. And they serve as
the fact that she has all those memorized, the fact that she can just rattle them off like that, the fact that she knows all of his business names is creepy as fuck. I'm sorry.
Shell companies, basically. Robert is one of the most abusive people I've ever I have had to interact with him through legal proceedings and
through legal proceedings. Okay, this is where she's about to get bold again. But you have not dealt with him. You've dealt with his attorneys, okay? But you've never dealt with his wrath. Now you're dealing with his wrath. He's probably like, fuck you. You think you've dealt with me before? I'm just going to go hire the biggest, baddest motherfucker that exists in Minnesota. And he did.
Smear campaign of me, and he is so abusive. He has been so abusive to me. He's been so abusive to the Wilkie. So they're suing me because I was the one to break the story on the cult. And
so that's the second time that we've heard her say that she's being sued because she broke the story. We have to remember one of her declarations in the very beginning. She's basically, it was in her answer of something, I can't remember, but she basically said, no, I'm not the one that first started talking about this. Other people were, and I picked, and I started, the Wilkins did a video, and then other outlets picked it up, and then I started talking about it. This is going to come back and bite her in the ass. One thing I want to say about this live stream, it's going to show that this is it, but then later on, there's some misnumber. There's like an, you'll see this live stream come up again later on. And then somebody complain at a higher number. And then we'll hear the other parts of this live stream that are even worse than this.
And I was the one that helped the story go viral. And it was my coverage that spawned all the wider media outlets to pick it up. So that's why he's suing me.
That is going to bite you in the ass. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. Let's go back and listen to that. That's a note we're going to end it on.
That helped the story go viral. And it was my coverage that spawned all the wider media outlets to pick it up. So that's why he's suing me.
And now you've got 7M with the best representation. It's not cheap at all. If Robert Shin is willing, this is my question we're going to end this on. If Robert Shin is being accused of all these horrible things from Katie Joy, he's gone, there's a federal investigation, whether it's still ongoing or not. He was raided, right? Just because they have not come to an agreement with the money that was seized at his home, that stipulated agreement, from what I can tell, I probably won't see if there's an agreement made. If he gets the money back or whatever. The only thing I can see is a stipulated agreement on the extension to the date as to when they need to indict Robert Shin by or bring a civil suit against the money, right? Just because he hasn't gotten the money back does not mean that he's been found guilty of anything. It means that the state of California wants that money and they're going to fight to hold it. Okay. So she's making all these accusations about all these horrible things that Robert Shin has done and is. And she keeps saying them as fact. Shin's attorney has told them these are not factual statements. Stop making them. She made them again. That's defamation. And I'm pretty sure that's, they're going to argue this. But why? This is a question I'm going to end it on. Why in the world would Robert Shin spend the amount of money that he's spending, an insane amount of money, on this attorney, if he is guilty of all these things? If he you know, if he hasn't been like, maybe not all of these things, there might be some white collar shit. I don't know. But I focus on the sex trafficking thing because mainly she's trying to imply that Miranda's being sex trafficked by Robert Shin and that he has all these invisible people. We're going to hear that on the next one. All these invisible people that he is trafficking. He's trafficking all these illegal immigrants that he brought in with fake false green cards. Robert Shin has brought in on false pretenses under false illegal green cards, and he's trafficking them, and they're all invisible people. Why would Robert Shin spend the amount of money that he's doing if he was guilty of any of this? Maybe because he's a narcissist. Maybe we'll see that, yeah, he is guilty of all this shit and he just likes to spend money. Could be. Could be. It's an insane amount of money to be spending to fight this, as Todd Chrisley would say, right? This is what Todd Chrisley would say about all of this.
The truth will rise just like the sun every day. Two things you can be guaranteed of is that the sun's going to come up tomorrow and that the truth will be revealed. And it's going to be revealed about you, YouTuber. I understand she gets upset, folks, when you call her a YouTuber.
So there you go. Yeah. The truth will come out in this. I also think that Robert Shin is confident that he's going to get a lot of the money back that he has lost. I wonder what his plans are for the future to prove his truth if, and I say if, I don't know if the man's guilty of this or that. What I can tell you is, in the eyes of the law, Katie Joy has no right to say the majority of the things that she said because it is considered defamatory, according to 7M. All right, y'all, I've got to go. I will catch y'all on the next one. If anything pops up, I'll let you know. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, y'all.
It don't take a crystal ball to know how some stories end. When someone keeps saying opinions like facts, the courts start listening. Southern mutton don't predict nothing, we just watch and write it down. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you state it like a fact and never check it first. Southern mutton watch it close from the courthouse ground. True stay patient while the paper getting worse. Same routine, new headline phone. Same bold claims that the record don't want. She speak real loud, no maybe, no seems. Turn opinions into facts like the courtroom clean. I ain't wishing nothing, I just seen the signs. When the words outrun proof, it's a matter of time. Mr. Repeat, when you don't learn yet. Courts don't care what you meant, just what you said. When confidence louder than evidence be, that's when patterns start explaining things to me. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you speak like a verdict before the truth's found. Southern mutton in the case, boots firm on the tile. We don't chase drama, we just watch the file, yeah. Country rap calm, I don't glow to grin. I just read the docket when it rolled back in. She called it truth, called it just how it is. But courts draw lines where the talking ends. I ain't psychic, I'm observing. Facts don't bend cause a voice is urgent. From testimony tone to the written page. Same outcome when the pattern don't change. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing on. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing. Don't need a crystal ball, don't need belief. When the law still runs on proof and receipts. Southern mutton watching through the courtroom glass. Pointing out lies as they're saying it's facts. Yeah. This ain't prophecy. This ain't hate. Just history watching itself repeat. When words get reckless, the courts get busy. And the truth always shows up right on time.